And the doctor came in and asked me if I was ready to change my life. And I said, "You damn right, doc, let's go." At that time, I was motivated. I was very, very motivated. I said, let's go. Let's get this done. And I woke up and I had sutures and I had, that heavy chest feeling from the anesthesia, but I wasn't hungry. I didn't want anything to eat. I wanted something to drink. My mouth was terribly dry. And any of you that's been through this or about to go through this is going to be the worst part. When you have a gastric bypass, not the sleeve, but when you have gastric bypass, I don't know if they still do it, but at that time, you weren't allowed any water. You weren't allowed anything in your pouch for the first 24 hours because they were going to watch you for any kind of infection. They were going to watch you for any kind of anything. They were going to let those sutures or whatever they did inside, all that rearranging, that was going to heal and take and stick for the first 24 hours. You weren't going to have a thing. I don't know if any of you have ever been on Lasix and not been allowed to drink any water for 24 hours. And on top of that, because you haven't had anything to eat or drink for 12 hours before that. So you're 36 hours without any liquid, any water at all right? 36 hours. Have you ever been 36 hours without liquid? It isn't that you feel bad. It's not a physical thing. It's your mouth. It's your lips. There comes to a point where you can't lick your lips because there's no moisture in your mouth. You get this film inside your mouth on your teeth. It feels like it's that thick. It feels like it's that thick. It feels like this caking, this gelatinous nastiness on your teeth and on your tongue and on the roof of your mouth and on your lips are cracked. And I remember one of the nurses that night she reached into her pocket and she pulled out a chapstick. And I'm not a chapstick guy. I'm one of those guys that believes if you start using it, you have to use the rest of your life. But that was the most glorious thing that ever happened in my life, was that nurse that gave me that chapstick. You wouldn't think it was, but man, that was great. Okay, so you go 24 hours and you have to get, okay. And the other thing about the first 24 hours is you have to move. You have to get up. You have to pee. You have to use that breathing thing to get the anesthesia out of you. You've got to use it. So you got to do that. But the problem is that when they give you, when you're big, and I was 573 pounds the day of my surgery, 573. When you're that big, they put the compression boots on your legs to keep the blood flowing so you don't clot up, right? So whatever it is, whatever the reason is, but they put them boots. Them boots bruised my calves. My calves felt like they went 15 rounds with Mike Tyson beating on them. When I woke up, that's the reason. I don't think that's the reason that I felt any hunger, is because my calves hurt so bad. Just beat up. Anyways, so you have to get up and you have to move. Didn't have any problem getting up. Didn't hurt. I was okay. I had been weight training and powerlifting this whole time. Even at 500 plus pounds, I was still going to the gym. I was still lifting weights. I was still deadlifting, squatting, bench pressing. I was still going to the gym and lifting weights, because that was the only thing that was regulating any kind of blood sugar or blood pressure, was still going to the gym. I would work out 10 hours and I would go to the gym on the way home. But I got up and I walked. And the Baptist Memorial, the floors are set up like a cross. There's a center station where the nurses, there's a center station where the nurses are, and you can see all the way down the halls from that center station. That's the way it was set up. So my room was pretty much dead center, right next to the waitress station, right next to the nurses station. Right next to nurse station. Okay, so I hear them talking and everything because I didn't sleep much that first night. It wasn't I was in pain. It was just like I was jacked up. I was like, let's do this. But I was drugged. I mean, the drug, that button, every 20 minutes. Yeah, that was great. That first couple of days. But so I made myself get up. I got up on my feet and I made that circuit. I started in the center, went to there was a window on the end of every hall. So walked to the window, came back, walked to the window, came back, walked to the window, came back, and walked to the window, came back. And there was my room. I must have done that 15 times that night. And they're all like, you're doing so good, Mr. Slater. Just keep that walking. That's going to help the best, you know. I was motivated. Anyways, okay, so got through the first night, you know, to make you do your business, make sure that your plumbing's working okay. So, got that all done, got that all took care of, hit that button as many times as they let me hit that. That was a nice thing. Then I woke up the next morning. I did fall asleep. I did finally fall asleep. It was 4 or 5 a.m. I finally fell asleep and woke up like at 7 just after having a nap. And they walked in with this little bitty cup. This little bitty cup of ice chips. Okay? And I wasn't thirsty still. I still wasn't thirsty. That first spoonful of ice chips was the most glorious thing I had ever had in my life. Just to be able to, I didn't even swallow it. I just rinsed my mouth out. And it felt like it was just flaking off in big chunks of gelatinous goo. I actually spit it back into the cup. And this is going to be gross, but it was brown. Okay? Because I didn't want to swallow it. But she said, take another one because you got to swallow. You need to swallow this because you need to start the process. So that second one was, and it was, okay, we're good. And she said, we're going to do this like every 10 minutes. So I got like every 10 minutes, I got a spoonful of ice. But it was that first one. Oh, that first one that was like, I can't explain how wondrous that was. That is the one thing that I remember the most. That's the one thing that I remember the most about the hospital was that first spoon of ice.